Anderson, Indiana. Anderson is a city and in the county seat of Madison County, Indiana, United States. It is the principal city of the Anderson, Indiana Metropolitan Statistical Area, which encompasses Madison County. Anderson is the headquarters of the Church of God and home of Anderson University, which is affiliated with Christian denomination. Highlights of the city include the historic Paramount Theater and the Grunewald Historic House. The population was 56,129 at the 2010 census. This is down from 70,000 in 1970. Prior to the organization of Madison County, William Connor entered the land upon which Anderson is located. Connor later sold the ground to John and Sarah Berry, who donated 32 acres of their land to Madison County on the condition that the county seat be moved from Pendleton to Anderson. John Berry laid out the first plat of Anderson on November 7, 1827. In 1828 the seat of justice was moved from Pendleton to Anderson. The city is named for Chief William Adam Anderson, whose mother was a Delaware Indian and whose father was of Swedish descent. Chief Anderson's Indian name was Keekthon, meaning creaking boughs. The Delaware village was known as Anderson's Town, though the Moravian missionaries called it the Heathen Town 4 miles away. Anderson was also known as Andersonton before being formally organized as Anderson. Introduction of internal improvements by the Mammoth Internal Improvement Act caused a growth in the population in 1837. In December 1838, Anderson was incorporated as a town with 350 inhabitants. The Central Canal, a branch of the Wabash and Erie Canal, was planned to come through Anderson. Work continued on the canal during 1838 and the beginning of 1839, but work on the canal was soon suspended by the state following the Panic of 1837. The town again became a sleepy village until 1849, when it was incorporated a second time as a town. Many new commercial ventures located around the courthouse square. This incorporation was short-lived and Anderson once again went back to village status in 1852. However, with the completion of the Indianapolis-Bellefontaine Railroad, as well as their station in 1852, Anderson burst to life. The third incorporation of Anderson as a town occurred on June 9, 1853. The population continued to increase. On August 28, 1865, with a population was nearly 1,300 people, Anderson was incorporated as a city. Between 1853 and the late 19th century, 20 industries of various sizes located there. On March 31, 1887, natural gas was discovered in Anderson. As the Indiana gas boom began, this discovery led new businesses that could use natural gas, such as glassmaking, to move to the city. Anderson grew to such proportions that a Cincinnati newspaper editor labeled the city the Pittsburgh on White River. Other appellations were Queen City of the Gas Belt and Puncture-Proof City. In 1897 the Interurban Railroad was born in Anderson. Charles Henry, a large stockholder, coined the term interurban in 1893. It continued to operate until 1941. The year 1912 spelled disaster for Anderson. The natural gas ran out, due to the residents squandering their resources. The city left its gas-powered lights on day and night, and there are stories of a pocket of natural gas being lit in the river and burning for a prolonged period for the spectacle of it. The result of the loss of natural gas was that several factories moved out. The whole city slowed down. The commercial club was the forerunner of the present Chamber of Commerce. This club persuaded the Remy brothers to stay in Anderson and others to locate there. For decades, Delco Remy and Guy Lamp, during World War II built the M3, M3A1 submachine gun and the Liberator pistol for the Allies, were the top two employers in the city. From 1913 through the 1950s, the Ward Stilson Company was one of the country's largest producers of uniforms, regalia, furniture and props for the Freemasons, the Oddfellows and dozens of other U.S. fraternal organizations. The Church of God of Anderson located its world headquarters in Anderson in 1905. Anderson Bible School was opened in 1917, and this was separated from Gospel Trumpet in 1925. At the same time, it became known as Anderson Bible School and Seminary. In 1925, the name was changed to Anderson College and then to Anderson University in 1988. Over the years, 17 different types of automobiles were manufactured in Anderson, with the Lambert family among the city's leaders in its development, and Buckeye Gasoline Buggy the Lambert product. Many other inventions were perfected in Anderson, including the gas regulator, the stamp vending machine, clothes presser, Irish mail handcars, flower car for funeral homes, sis and choke, and the vulcanizing process to retread tires. Like most other industrial cities in Indiana and the Rust Belt as a whole, Anderson suffered tremendously from deindustrialization in the 1970s and 1980s. For example, nearly 22,000 people were employed by General Motors in the 1970s. By 2006 this had declined to less than 2,600. Anderson has since struggled with higher rates of poverty and unemployment. Anderson is located at 40 degrees 0600 and 85 degrees 4053 W, 40.100041 degrees north, 85.681525 degrees west, 40.100041, minus 85.681525. The city of Anderson is located in parts of 6 townships: Anderson, Union, Richland, Lafayette, Adams, and Fall Creek. According to the 2010 census, Anderson has a total area of 41.479 square miles, of which 41.37 square miles is land and 0.109 square miles is water. As of the 2010 census, there were people, households, and families residing in the city. The population density was 1,356.8 inhabitants per square mile. There were housing units at an average density of 675.7 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 78.8% white, 15.2% African American, 0.3% Native American, 0.5% Asian, 2.6% from other races, and 2.6% from 2 or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 4.8% of the population. Of the extant households, 28.8% had children under the age of 18 living with him, 35.8% were married couples living together, 17.1% had a female householder with no husband present, 5.5% had a male householder with no wife present, and 41.6% were non-families. 34.5% of all households were made up of individuals and 13.8% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.28 and the average family size was 2.91. The median age in the city was 37.8 years. 22.4% of residents were under the age of 18, 11.5% were between the ages of 18 and 24, 24.8% were from 25 to 44, 24.9% were from 45 to 64, and 16.3% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 47.9% male and 52.1% female. As of the 2000 census, there were people, households, and families residing in the city. The population density was 1,491.6 people per square mile. There were housing units at an average density of 690.3 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 81.99% white, 14.88% African American, 0.31% Native American, 0.49% Asian, 0.02% Pacific Islander, 0.86% from other races, and 1.45% from 2 or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 2.07% of the population. There were 25,274 households, out of which 27.0% had children under the age of 18 living with him, 41.4% were married couples living together, 15.1% had a female householder with no husband present, and 39.0% were non-families. 33.1% of all households were made up of individuals and 14.0% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.28 and the average family size was 2.87. In the city, the age distribution of the population shows 23.2% under the age of 18, 11.2% from 18 to 24, 27.6% from 25 to 44, 21.3% from 45 to 64, and 16.6% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 36 years. For every 100 females, there. The city government consists of a mayor and a city council. The mayor is elected in citywide vote. The city council consists of 9 members. 6 are elected from individual districts. 3 members are elected at large. When General Motors closed its operations in Anderson, the city was dealt a major economic blow as GM was the biggest employer in Anderson. Nevertheless, in 2007, Anderson was ranked 98th in the Forbes list for 100 best places for businesses among smaller U.S. metro areas. However, a more recent appraisal of Anderson from the Indiana Business Review was mixed, noting that long-term trends are negative, citing a long-term downward trend in area employment and acceleration in the number of food stamp recipients. More recent unemployment has been reduced, but improvements still lag behind the rest of the state. For 2013, estimated household median income was $33,574. Per capita money income was $18,216. 25.8% of the city's population was estimated at living below poverty level, versus a statewide estimation of 15.4%. Madison County, of which Anderson is the seat, has nearly 3 times as many food stamps recipients per capita as does Indiana as a whole. As of June 2014, the 10 largest employers in Madison County were: Anderson's public school district is the Anderson Community School Corporation, which includes one high school, Anderson High School, which serves grades 9 to 12, one junior high school, Highland Middle School, which serves grades 6 to 8, 6 elementary schools which serve K-5, a kindergarten center, and a preschool. Until 1997, Anderson had 3 high schools: Highland, Madison Heights, and Anderson. In 1997, Madison Heights was closed and Anderson High School moved into that facility. Beginning in the fall of 2010, Highland High School closed and was converted into a junior high school, consolidating all students in grades 9 to 12 into Anderson High School. Anderson also has a charter school called Anderson Preparatory Academy. Currently, Anderson Preparatory Academy features grades K-12. Anderson Preparatory Academy is a college preparatory, military-based academy. All cadets in grades 6 to 8 are members of the Civil Air Patrol. High school cadets are all members of the Air Force JOC program. Original plans called to only offer grades 6 to 9, then add on another upper grade each year before extending the lower years. Anderson University and Ivy Tech Community College of Indiana are also located within the city. The city has a lending library, the Anderson Public Library. In the comic strip Peanuts, a book in the fictional series beloved by Snoopy, The 6 Bunny Bunnies, is called The 6 Bunny Bunnies and their layover in Anderson, Indiana. Anderson is the home of several characters in the alternate history novel The Man with the Iron Heart by Harry Turtledove. The Man with the Iron Heart by Harry Turtledove. The Man with the